Let's go ahead and introduce Brandin Podziemski to the show. Very, very excited to have him, especially after such a memorable night. And I know it was a loss, Brandin, but thank you for coming on, first of all. Congratulations. And what did last night mean to you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, first and foremost. But in terms of last night, it's just, staying ready for your time. And, obviously what happened in the beginning of the game happened, and my number was called. So it was, my time to help the team win in any way I could. And, for the most part, I thought I did that. Obviously, it sucks that we didn't come away with the win. But, it's always good to be out there with the guys and being able to play extended minutes.
No doubt. It was your time to shine. And Mark and I were talking about what Coach Kerr said about you before the game. And then you went out and played the way you did. And then after the game, he had even more glowing praise for your performance. Was that the greatest night? And I'll say this in terms of sports, but was that the greatest night of your life in terms of how you played, even though you came up with a loss?
I would say probably not. Anything that involves winning is what I'm about. So when a loss comes with it, it's kind of down on the totem pole per se. But it was good in the fact that I actually got some run, and it gave me the utmost confidence that I can compete and I belong out there with anybody. So I guess you could look at that in a positive light.
What was the greatest night of your life in terms of sports?
Probably winning a Big Ten championship at Illinois. And then, obviously getting drafted this past summer. Probably the two best moments. Just celebrating with my family, a win in life and a dream come true. But then, during my time at Illinois, winning a championship was something I always wanted to do in college.
Brandin Podziemski joining us here on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. Brandin, we definitely want your perspective on how the night started. You knew you were going to play, but then the whole night takes a turn. What happened through your view, and sort of what's your take on how things got played out from the officials and the league and beyond?
Yeah, so in terms of the officials and anything like that, I don't know what kind of outcome is going to come from that. But from my perspective, I just saw Draymond stand up for his teammate, and I wouldn't want to have any other teammate in that situation besides Draymond. I think he saw Gobert kind of go after Klay after a little tussle with him and McDaniels, and he was just standing up for his teammate, as I think anybody would have done in that situation.
Yeah, it's kind of the way I saw it, and everybody sees it in their own way, and the league ultimately decides what happens from here on out. But you get in the game, and Klay's out. Do you have that sense once everything happens the way it happened that you're going to get even more minutes, or are you always prepared to have that kind of an impact no matter what?
Yeah, I'm always just prepared to, be out there for whether it's 39 minutes like it was last night, or whether it's 1 minute like it was the night before, or two nights before against Minnesota. Just kind of prepared for anything, because as a rookie, your role is really not solidified, especially on a championship level team. So you kind of got to be prepared for kind of whatever. And, it may kind of suck in somebody's eyes, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Brandin, we were going to ask you something that you may have already answered behind the scenes to our producer, but I figure you put up 23 points. You certainly had an entertaining game for all of us to watch, and your name, Brandin Podziemski, calls for something that people who know you, I'm sure, shorten up. So, what did your people when you were younger call you?
Call me Pods, call me BP. Those are probably the three that are most common.
Okay.
BP is what I'm called in the locker room, mostly by the guys. But yeah, probably those three.
Okay, and then the other question I know a lot of people had about last night is how'd you get that patch on over your eye there? What happened?
Yeah, Friday night I played down in Santa Cruz with Trace before the Cleveland game on Saturday, and went up for a rebound, got elbowed by one of their bigs, and kind of busted my eye open a little bit. They glued it together, put some butterfly stitches on it, and called it a day. So I just been wearing the patch above my eye and the headband to keep it on. But I feel good. It looks pretty bad, but I feel good. I can see clearly, and that's kind of all that matters at this point.
It seems like it kind of suits you, just watching you last night, stepping in and taking charges and hitting the deck. Do you kind of relish that grinder side of being in the association?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's kind of what's made me stick, and is what's kind of going to make me stick in the league. Obviously, I'm not the most athletic, nor the most skilled, but I think the game different than many people, especially rookies. But for me, when I just get in those four lines, I kind of just let my instincts take over, and that's kind of how I play.
Brandin Podziemski is joining us here on 95.7 The Game, Willard and Dibs. So, Brandin, you're playing in a G League game on a Friday. You're scoring 23 in an NBA game on a Tuesday. Can you take us through the experience of the last 4 days of your life?
Yeah, it's kind of been a little bit of a whirlwind. I remember we came back from Denver late on Wednesday night after the game, and me and Trey's had an early morning. We woke up, drove down to Santa Cruz, and practiced on Thursday, stayed down there Thursday, and had a game Friday. We played well. We got the dub for Coach Nick in his first game in the G League as a head coach, and then drove back up Friday night after the game and was there Saturday, Sunday. We got in both games on Saturday late and Sunday late, and then, whatever the situations call for, we're ready to go yesterday. So it's cool. I mean, you get to play basketball for a living and you get paid to do it. It may seem like a lot to some people, but, for me, this is the fun part.
Yeah, it was fun for us last night, even though it resulted in a loss. I think all Warrior fans enjoyed just the grit and the fight that you all showed. I'm fascinated by your mix of humility and swagger. And you're obviously humble playing with the greatest shooter in the history of the game, yet when you get out there, it seems like you play with an edge that you feel like you're the best player on the floor, which you should. How do you balance those two different parts, knowing that you're playing with the Splash Brothers for four-time champs, but also going out there and playing with that swagger?
Yeah, I think, just from the outside looking in, you kind of learn to appreciate what they've done for the game of basketball. And, in some way or shape or form, they've kind of shaped me into terms of how I look at the game. So you always have respect and appreciation for that. But at the same time, you can't get lost and be in awe at all times. You got to, have that confidence and that swag that's kind of got you to where you've got now. And I think for me to continue on and be the person and player I am, I think I've always got to have that with me while maintaining that respect and appreciation for guys like Steph, Klay, Draymond, and CP that have been in the league a long time and have really, changed the game of basketball.
Hey, Brandin, take a listen to this play call real quick.
Good. Towns with a rebound, falling out of bounds, stolen by Podziemski. Podziemski stole the pass, turns and shoots at the buzzer, and he banked it in! He banked it in! Spinning toward the right corner, off balance, but on target. Towns was falling out of bounds. Podziemski dribbled it outside, a banked-in three at the buzzer, and the Warriors take a 7-point lead to the fourth quarter, we think. They're going to check it on the Warriors Radio Network.
Well, and you can go ahead and count it.
Count it.
Yeah, take us through that play, through your eyes.
Yeah, I think I drove it on Troy Brown to start the play, under 10 seconds left, and I used my pivots and kind of got stuck, and I think I threw that out to Moses, and he kind of just had to get a shot up on the rim, and he shot it. It hit the rim. I was already under there, and then, I didn't go for it because I saw a bunch of bodies, so I was kind of hoping it was just going to get deflected and I was going to have a chance to grab it. But Karl-Anthony Towns grabbed it, and he was kind of falling out of bounds, so I was just trying to read his eyes where he was going to throw it to, and he kind of threw it really right to me. And I dribbled it out. I was going to pass it out to, I think, maybe Jonathan or Dario, who's ever up top there, and I looked at the opposite end, and it said 2 point something on the shot clock, or on the game clock, I should say, and I just turned around and just shot it.
And you meant to hit it off the backboard, right?
No, I didn't. I was trying to shoot it straight in. When I let it go, I'm like, this is probably off. But I think it was just kind of one of those nights where everything was kind of going in.
Yeah, and that one was pretty sweet. I don't know if you could, you probably could hit that again, but spinning opposite side, fading right, shooting left, high glass. It was at that moment I told my partner, I thought you guys were going to win the game, but Minnesota showed good resolve in coming back. How nice is it for you to be not joined at the hip, but to have kind of like a parallel track with Trace Jackson Davis, another guy who was drafted the same year as you? Is it somewhat comforting to have another Rook around the team with you?
Yeah, it's really, as like a relief for me, just kind of knowing like every step of our journey together, even though I was the 19th pick and he's the 57th pick, I think it's been, quite similar. And just to have someone by your side that kind of understands like what you're going through daily life, because we're really living it together. It's been kind of cool just to hear his input and what he thinks. And when we're out there together, the positive effect that we have on the team, I think me and him, if I'm not mistaken, amongst rookies, lead in plus minus, or at least top 3, I think. So just to see our positive impact that when we get a chance to be out there, whether we're out there together or, individually, is super cool to see in our development.
I'll tell you what's super cool to see is when a night like that is developing, and when you come off the court at the end of a quarter or whatever, there's Steph Curry talking you up and talking to you. And I wonder what the nature of those conversations are. Like, what are some of the things he says to you? And by the way, as a rookie guard, we might as well throw Chris Paul into this as well. To have these two guards as mentors has got to be amazing. What are some of the things they say to you in those moments?
Yeah, I think in those moments, it's not really much to say besides, just kind of keep being me, and everything that's got me to that point, just keep doing that. And a lot of the learning and mentorship really comes off the floor, whether that be watching film or in practice. But during the game, they really don't want me to think about too much. And when I'm out there, just kind of play how I know how to play, because I impact winning it in a multitude of ways and at a high level.
Yeah, and it was a high-level performance from you yesterday, and we kind of joke around a little bit about the in-season tournament because it's a new thing and we don't really know exactly what to think of it, but is it something that you guys are locked in on, and does it give you maybe a little bit of an extra lift in a regular season game knowing that it is an IST contest against Minnesota?
No, you're 100%. You can feel it with the fans, just the energy and passion they brought. I think the little incident that happened in the first 2 minutes even brought more life out of the crowd. And I think it's a testament to our bench. I think our bench does a great job of taking pride of, trying to be the best bench in the NBA. I think last year it was kind of, starters produced most of the production and the bench was kind of, okay. And I think this year we kind of wanted to change that narrative, especially with our starters getting a little bit older, so maybe they don't have to play as much, and they're fresh for the playoffs. But yeah, we pride ourselves on being the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and we almost had it last night. Obviously, it's things that we couldn't win, but I think we kind of showed everybody that even with our 3 best players out, we can still compete with anybody.
Hey, Brandon, especially with another back-to-back coming up, I wanted your perspective on this. Do you think that fight off the top of the show, do you think the fact that you're playing the same team twice in a row had anything to do with it?
I don't think so. I think, just knowing the nature of our team and, if anybody goes at one of our best players like that, I think that's going to be no matter the team we play. And, Draymond will stick up for anybody on our team, and just because that was Klay doesn't mean anything. If it was anybody else, he would have done the same thing for us. And, that's the great part about being Dre's teammate, that he'll stick up for you no matter what. But in terms of playing the same team, I think it's cool. Just like we're playing OKC twice this upcoming weekend, and we'll see what kind of battle that presents, because they're a whole different team than Minnesota.
Brandon, and we're talking to Brandin Podziemski. I know at the end of your college career, you have a taste of Bay Area life, but we wonder how you're settling in. In fact, a lot of our listeners are already commenting on the fact that you just said you and Trace are rooming together. Like, how is this all going? Like living, I would presume, here in San Francisco. Yeah,
I live in San Francisco here, about a minute or 2 away from Chase Center. Just want to be as close as I can to where I'm going to be most. And then obviously in Santa Cruz, just living in a hotel. But it's been great. I've got a chance to go out and kind of explore what San Francisco's about, and really learn a little bit about the city. I didn't know what a cable car was before, and obviously it's on our city edition uniform, so I thought it was fitting that I kind of know what that is. And,
awesome.
Seeing the Golden Gate Bridge for the first time, getting to walk across it, just little things like that where when you have time off and kind of gets your mind away from basketball and out of the house, I think it's been super beneficial. And I know, I don't want to speak for Trace, but I know he's got to do some similar things. And it's kind of been good for both of us to, because there is so much that goes into being a rookie, because really not knowing, where you're going to be, when you're going to be there. So just taking advantage of your opportunities when you don't have games or practices and stuff to explore the city that you're going to live in for the next couple of years.
What's still available on your San Francisco tourism bingo card? You got your eye on Alcatraz, or maybe a run to Coit Tower? Or are there other things out there that you're kind of looking forward to on the next off day?
Yeah, I mean, if you go on Golden State YouTube, me and Trace did our Rookies in the Bay event at Alcatraz.
Yep.
And through some sightseeing in San Francisco, which was really nice. That's something I always wanted to see. Got to do that with him. But in terms of my bucket list, I haven't really thought of anything in particular yet. When I just hear about stuff or see stuff, I just kind of say, yeah, I'm going to go do this.
I like it.
Yeah. Have you talked to any landlords about a good deal? And how do you and Trace handle that? I hope he didn't be like, dude, you're a first rounder, so you got to handle more of this.
Nah, so me and Trace, we actually don't live together.
Okay.
He lives in a different building than I do. But in terms of like sharing the same experiences, I know the life of being a rookie isn't easy. So like any questions that we may have, we kind of just talk amongst each other, because my answer and his answer might be different than if we ask the vet something because they've been through it. But we try to figure it out on our own, and then we help each other as much as we can.
It's got to be an interesting dynamic knowing you've got an almost 39-year-old Chris Paul, and you got Draymond and Steph and Klay in their mid-30s, and then there's all the youngsters, yourself and Trace and Moses and Kuminga in your early 20s. Is it a little bit, not awkward, but is it a challenge to kind of mix and match with the old heads?
I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's cool, and I think it's something that's necessary. At first, for sure, it was a little bit weird that my teammates have kids, and Chris's son is almost as old as me, so it's kind of like weird in that aspect. But I think it's cool. I've gotten to meet Chris's kids. I've gotten to meet Draymond's kids. You guys probably saw the video of me and his son DJ playing tic-tac-toe the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just, building relationships with people's family, I think that's a super, critical piece to, our relationship in terms of like me and Draymond and me and Chris, that, I can get along with their family and they can feel comfortable with me around their kids.
21st birthday, only less than 3 months away. What are the plans?
I got to look at the schedule. I don't know where we're at in terms of where we play, who we play.
Well, what's your birthday? What's it, February 25th?
You can ask him his social security number next.
I was going to ask him his address when he said he was right by Chase. Do you want to share your address? No,
please.
Okay, you're home against Denver on your birthday.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we can start the night off with a win. Obviously, we lost to them. We get a rematch Christmas Day. So hopefully we get a win against them at home, and then probably do some with my teammates or my family if they come out for my 21st.
Well, Brandin, you're a ton of fun, and let me just speak for a lot of people listening. That was a really great watch last night that obviously a lot of people didn't see coming. So thanks for a wonderful night of watching basketball. Congrats. I know people are hoping for more minutes going forward, and thank you for spending some time with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can, turn the ship around these next couple and finish the homestand off with 3 wins.
Okay, that's what we're looking forward to.
BP
there
in
he
the
is.
building.
Brandin Podziemski joining us right here on Willard and Dibs.